What's up? It's your boy, Husky Grape, and today I want to try to do a tier list of pretty much every fighting game that I wouldn't say every fighting game I've ever played, but I'm trying to do traditional fighting games, so no platform fighters like Smash Bros. Or Brawlhalla, that kind of thing. Um, and then I'm also trying to do fighting games that I've played a decent amount of. Now, what I will say, I actually am going to make another tier, add a row below, because some of these I have not played. So we're gonna put it no not played category, and we'll just keep these the same S A B C D. In fact, I probably could put a F tier. Yeah, actually, let's do an F tier. Let's do add a row above. We'll make it black. Oh wait, no, we'll do. What color should I do for it? What's I guess red. Yeah, we'll just say oh wait. Fuck. Okay, I guess that's fine. Not played. Okay. F. There we go. Looks good to me. So, oh man, now I can't even see the game, so I have to scroll down. Oh wait, that kind of gets rid of the ad. Okay. That's no, it's still there. Stupid. Stop seeing this ad. Covered content. We'll try not to show that ad again, and then we'll just keep this here. Oh, this is so stupid. Okay, all right. Never mind. Let's just get rid of F tier. Let's get a just delete row. Just delete the row. This is fine. Okay. So I kind of got it in order. This is all of them. So these are most of the fighting games that I have played a decent amount of. There's a few of these that I actually have not played, or at least have not played a ton of. So those will go in the not played category. Also, if you've noticed, I have alpha on here twice. I don't know how to delete them. I tried right clicking and I didn't see an option. So we'll just deal with having two Street Fighter alphas on here. And then I don't know why there's a plain black box. I don't know how that happened. So, all right. So we'll start with Tekken. We'll just kind of go down the line. I tried to put all the series sort of next to each other so I could keep it straightforward. So Tekken 1, D tier, terrible game. It's cool to have like one of the very first 3D fighters out there. I believe Virtua Fighter came first. Um, and that's fine. Like this was their first one, but it sucks to play now. It just plays like shit. Like I really don't see any reason to ever go back to it unless you really just want the novelty of like playing an old game. Other than that, it's just kind of shitty. Now Tekken 2, funny enough, I have never played Tekken 2. I could play Tekken 2. It's on, I think it's on PlayStation Now, so I could play it. I just haven't bothered with it yet. I will play it eventually, but I can't imagine it's much better than the first one. It's probably better, but I can't imagine it'd be that much better. Tekken 3. Now, I don't have any nostalgia for Tekken 3. It's a good game. It's aged very well. And I can see why it's so revolutionary. But I'm just gonna put it in the B tier because I have no nostalgia for it. So it's not getting any points for me there. The game plays good. I actually borrowed the game from a friend. I could probably emulate it now, but I borrowed it from a friend. I played it for a little while, and I had a lot of fun with it. So it's a good B tier game. And then I brought it back to him. Tekken Tag Tournament. Now, to be fair, I haven't played Tekken Tag Tournament since I was a kid, but I will say I don't remember loving it. So I'm just gonna go off my memory of being a kid, and we're just gonna put it in C tier. Not terrible, but not my favorite either. Now, Tekken 4, I am very nostalgic for Tekken 4. This is the one I played. This is the one that got me into Tekken. It's the one that this was probably the first fighting game I ever played a lot of. I love the aesthetic for this game. Now, I do understand why some people don't like it. It's kind of weird. It tried to go for like an ultra realism type of thing, you know. It was weird. You couldn't juggle as much. There was things in the environments. So I think from a competitive standpoint, this game probably isn't very good. But I think for the standpoint of this game's not going to be played competitively anyway in the near future, and just going into it casually, I think this is one of my favorite Tekken games. So I'm going to put it in A tier. This is a casual list after all. So there you go. Tekken 5. Tekken 5 is terrible. I'm just kidding. I have never played Tekken 5. I've never gotten around to it. I know a lot of people love Tekken 5. They think this is the true sequel to 3, but sadly I think I've played this game once and that's it. So I'm just going to put it in not played. I can't fairly grade it. I know it's one of the better Tekken games that people say, but I can't grade it. I can't. It wouldn't be fair to. Okay, Tekken 6. Tekken 6 is going into B tier. Solid game. I will say Azazel is kind of stupid. I don't like that they made Jin a bad guy. It wasn't really my favorite thing. Him starting World War III basically. But the game plays good. It's Tekken. I love Tekken, right? I'm a big Tekken guy. You know, take a shot every time I say Tekken, you know. I love this series. I am a Tekken fan through and through. It is my probably my favorite fighting game series overall. Just mechanically alone. Now, it's not the one I'm most nostalgic for, but from a pure gameplay standpoint, I would say it's my favorite. Tekken 7. This is hard because I love the way Tekken 7 plays. I love it. You know what? Fuck it. S tier. It's going into S tier. I'm sorry. I love Tekken 7. I probably have 350 hours in this game. I played the shit out of Jin. I played a lot of Lydia. Luckily, she's in Tekken 8 now, so I'm glad about that. I think really the only real problem this game has is like the online could be a little bit better. It could be more snappier and getting you into those rematches. And then on top of that, it just doesn't have a ton of content offline. You know, it has some things, but not enough in my opinion. So I'm a little critical of it, but I love the game too much. It has so much that I love about it mechanically. There's so many characters in the game. Some of the guest characters are weird to have in it, like Negan, but great game. I love it. Tekken 8 goes above it. Tekken 8 is possibly my favorite fighting game. I'm not going to say that definitively, but it Tekken 8 is like Tekken 7 but with content. And also it's more aggressive and all that. It's got the heat system, you know. I know some people prefer the way 7 plays, but I like the way 8 plays more. It feels so good to me. It's a fun game. I love Tekken 8. The story mode was great. There's every character has their endings. I know the DLC characters don't, but I know they're adding like a DLC movie thing that comes with the characters later on, so that's cool. So that's fine. But everyone else, they have their own character endings and they're very well animated. Great game. They brought Tekken Ball back. I didn't even mention Tekken Bowling is in 7, so that's something you could do. But yeah, I love this game. I don't want to linger too long on any individual game. I don't want this video to be over an hour because I have a good amount of games on here. So we'll move on to Street Fighter. Street Fighter 1, D tier. It's going below this. In fact, you know what? Just rename this to F tier. We'll just say this is bad games. These are bad games. Street Fighter 1 is worse than Tekken 1. It is a fucking terrible game. Now, to be fair, this was like what maybe the first fighting game ever. Like this was like one of the first 3D fighters. This is like the first fighting game in general. So you could give it a little bit of slack in that sense, but it's just terrible. I don't even know how this game even got a sequel. Um, it's just awful. I I can't I can't go back to this game. It's so garbage. I've played it a few times. It sucks. So yeah, Tekken, Street Fighter 2. Where will I put Street Fighter 2? Now, some people would put it up here because it is so revolutionary, and some people would put it down here because it is old. Someone put it right here. Yeah, I'm not huge on Street Fighter 2, but I respect the game. You know, I respect it, being basically what revolutionized fighting games and really multiplayer games in general. So yeah. Now this picture, it's probably hard to tell what this game is because of the pictures I chose on some of these, but this is Third Strike. Third Strike is an easy A tier. Some people would argue it's S tier, but I just wouldn't say it's S tier for me personally. I just I really like the game, but I wouldn't say it's one of my all-time goats. I wouldn't say it is something I could always go back to all the time. I just don't have nostalgia for it as well. But it's a great game. It's one of the most beautiful looking 2D animated games ever made, you know. The aesthetic of it is awesome. The music is amazing. The gameplay's fun. The gameplay's also broken as fuck. Great game. Kind of got it's funny how this worked. We got two in each category. All right, Street Fighter Alpha. I've never played Alpha 1. Um I mean, I don't know what else to say. I've never played Alpha 1. Alpha 2, I'm putting C tier. I like Alpha 2 fine. It's just I think the reason it's in C tier is that I just kind of prefer Alpha 3. And even Alpha 3 is only in B tier. I like these games a lot. Actually, no, we'll put Alpha 3 in A tier. I like Alpha 3 a lot, you know. Um it's a fun game. I think I'd probably prefer it if maybe, we'll put it in B tier just because there's no like dash ability, which I can't fault it too much. It's kind of old, but you know, I wouldn't put it quite up to Third Strike. So we're gonna keep it right here. Great game. I like playing Cody. Cody's my favorite Street Fighter character ever. Um, Mainly because I was a big Final Fight fan as a kid. I love Final Fight, and that's who I always played as was Cody. So I'm a little biased. Street Fighter 4, that's gonna go in the A tier. Street Fighter 4 is probably the one I'm most nostalgic for. I played this game as a kid a lot. I wasn't super young. Like, I wasn't as young as I was when I was playing Tekken 4. I was pretty young when I was playing Tekken 4, but Street Fighter 4, I grew up on. I actually, when I got this game, I got it alongside Batman Arkham Asylum, which I don't know if those games came out at the same time. I don't think they did, but I got them together when I was pretty young. I was maybe 10 or 12. I was a little kid. So Street Fighter 4, great game. Has a ton of characters. I think it has 44 characters in its best edition. And I think you could. I was playing this game a couple years ago. I actually found some online matches. It's kind of crazy. Ton of content in the game. I love it. I love Street Fighter 4. It's great. Street Fighter 5. Oof. Street Fighter 5 is a tricky one because this one had a rough start, but I don't think it's in a bad state anymore. I actually think it's in a pretty good spot now. Um, I think overall it's a good game. What would I put this? We'll put it in C tier. No, we'll put it in B tier, but we'll put it at the bottom of B tier. I wouldn't say it's a C tier game. It plays good, it's fun. It's got a lot of characters. If it was like release version, it would be down here, but right now I'd say it's B tier. I think that's more than fair. Street Fighter 6, that is easily S tier. I'd put it above Tekken 7, but I would put it below Tekken 8. Right in the middle. It's getting Oreoed in between. I fucking love Street Fighter 6. It's these two are actually some of my favorite fighting games ever made. I fucking love these games. They're so good. They're so good, so good. I think the only problem I really have with Street Fighter 6 is like I'm a little impatient. I want them to keep adding more and more characters and I hope they add Cody to it. I have no idea if they will, but I'm hoping. I really like playing Rashid in this game though, so that's fun. And Ken's always fun. Soul Calibur 2. Now I had the PS2 version of Soul Calibur 2, and if you don't know, that version had Heihachi from Tekken. And I know I was glazing Tekken. I know I love Tekken so much, but this might be a hot take. I don't really like Heihachi that much. I just don't. I don't care for Heihachi. I never really have. He's not one of my favorite Tekken characters. It could have had almost any other character. I probably would have liked it more. It could have had King, it could have had Jin, it could have had Kazuya, it could have had even Paul, like Nina, Lee, any of those. I would have preferred over Heihachi. I just never really liked Heihachi that much. Um, so, and I never got to play the GameCube or Xbox versions, Link and Spawn. Those are the characters I was more interested in. And then on top of that, I just this was my first Soul Calibur, but I wouldn't say it's my favorite. But despite that, I'd still put it in like B tier. I'd probably put it like right here. Yeah, we'll put it right there. That's a good spot. Okay. Now, Soul Calibur 3. Now, this is going to be a hot take. This is my favorite Soul Calibur game. I played this one after 2. Obviously, I had PS2. A lot of people didn't play this one because Soul Calibur 2 was sold well more so on the other two systems because it had Spawn and it had Link, especially on GameCube. That was the big seller. So it was weird that Soul Calibur 3 was a PS2 exclusive. It's like why the fuck would you do that? Um that being said, I love Soul Calibur 3. This game has so much content. I don't know how good it is competitively, but I'm not really here to talk about that. I'm here to just talk about my personal enjoyment of the game. And I just love the way this game plays. I love the outfits of a lot of the characters. I love the art style in this game. I feel like this is before the game started going really, really into like the anime aesthetic. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but when I go back and I look at this game, I love the way it looks, you know? And I'm not saying it's not anime-ish at all. It is, but I don't know, man. It had a little bit more of a realistic style to it versus like 4, 5, and 6, especially 5 and 6. And I just love the way this game looks. I was playing it recently. I really enjoy this game. Um, so it's gotta go like up here with like Tekken 4. I would probably say it's better than Tekken 4, maybe. But yeah, I put it up against that. I love these games. Soul Calibur 4. This is probably my least favorite Soul Calibur. I know a lot of people say 5 is the worst. I don't like 4 very much. And the reason for that is one, I think it's the slowest Soul Calibur game, and I just don't really like that. It's just too slow. But on top of that, I don't really like the guest characters, and that's funny because I'm a huge Star Wars nerd. I love Star Wars, but I'd rather have a guest character in these games that fit the game, that fit the time period. You just got fucking Star Wars characters out of nowhere with lightsabers slashing people, you know. And it's kind of a weird criticism to have by me because I've always wanted a Star Wars fighting game that kind of played like Soul Calibur, but like maybe like more like a one hit type of game, but like 3D, you know. So I don't know. But like in terms of like the aesthetic, it really feels off. I don't like it. And just the gameplay overall, I'm not a huge fan of. So it's gonna go in C tier. That's my least favorite one. Now, Soul Calibur 5. Soul Calibur 5 is the one that I probably feel the most conflicted on because I like it, but at the same time I also kind of fucking hate it. There's no character endings in this game. The story mode kind of sucks. And it just didn't really have a ton of content. It did have really good customization, you know? Like I think this is where the customization got really good. I think not Street Fighter. I think Soul Calibur 4's customization was good. I don't really remember, but I remember spending a lot of time customizing shit in 5. And then on top of that, it had Ezio from Assassin's Creed as one of the not one of as the guest character, and I felt like aesthetically he just matched a little bit better than fucking Jedi's and Siths. So I appreciate that, and he was just fun to play as, and the game's generally fun to play. So it's a hard game for me to rank, but I'm gonna put it in B tier. I like Soul Calibur 5 just fine. I wouldn't say it's my favorite, but I like it. Soul Calibur 6. I also kind of have mixed opinions on Soul Calibur 6 because I think I expected a little bit more from it, but at the same time, it is better than 4 and 5. It is definitely better than 4 and 5, but I'm not sure if I like it more. I definitely don't like it more than 3. I'm not sure if I like it more than 2. Um, yeah, no, never mind. I think I like it a little bit more than 2, but I would probably put it just above 2. I like it. Geralt is a great guest character. And funny enough, I know I was talking shit on the Jedi's, but I kind of like 2B in this game. At least she's like from a game that's kind of post-apocalyptic. She's not from a game where there's Actually, that's not true. They are on a spaceship. I don't know. 2B doesn't fit perfectly, but I feel like she fits better than a fucking lightsaber wielding Jedi. But, at least you got Geralt as well, and I think he perfectly fits this game. So, yeah, we're going to stick with that right there, boy. All right. Now, Blaze Blue. Now, if you don't know, Blaze Blue is also another top series for me. It's probably the only one that actually competes with Tekken. Now I believe, yeah, this is the first one. This is Calamity Trigger. This is Continuum Shift. This is Chrono Phantasma. This is Central Fiction, and this is BB Tag. So we're gonna go with Calamity Trigger, A tier, easily. In fact, I'd put it right there, in the middle. I love Calamity Trigger. It's a fantastic game, and naturally, Continuum Shift is better than it because pretty much every Blaze Blue game, at least from a gameplay perspective, is usually better than the last one because it's kind of like it's they play similar but they add more stuff to it. They don't just change up the entire mechanical system, they just add more to it. They add characters, they add mechanics. It just gets deeper every game. Chrono Phantasma, right here. I love Chrono Phantasma. That this is probably this or Central Fiction are my two most played games. Like one of my two most played Blaze Blue games, I mean. I love when I tell you I love Blaze Blue, I mean I fucking love Blaze Blue. The only criticism I have of these games at all is the lack of good netcode. I don't own it on PC. I've thought about trying to buy it for this PC, but I'm not sure how it'll run because it's just a laptop. It's not like the greatest thing ever. It could play ROMs of like some older games, but I can't really play anything super duper nice right now. I ain't playing no Elden Ring on here. I'm sorry. I got that on my PS5. So, but yeah, I love Blaze Blue, and naturally, this is gonna go right there as well. And these are probably going to stay right here. I don't think there's gonna be anything else that are gonna get past either of these two. I am a fucking Blaze Blue fanatic. These are my favorite 2D fighters ever. And I mean 2D as in like gameplay, not just art style. Like when I'm counting like 3D games like Street Fighter 6, that have 3D graphics. Like 2D gameplay wise, these are my favorites. I love them. BB Tag, C tier. I like BB Tag fine. Like it's not bad. I just it doesn't play like Blaze Blue. It's not really a Blaze Blue game anyway. It just feels like they just kind of slapped the name on there just because why not? But like it's got Blaze Blue, it's got Under Night, it's got the Persona Arena Ultimax characters, Persona 4 and 3 characters. And it has Ruby. I don't know if you've seen Ruby, it's the Rooster Teeth show that they released. I watched like the first season of it a long fucking time ago and then I dropped it because I wasn't a huge fan. Um, and I don't know, man. I wasn't a huge fan of the gameplay of this one. Like it's fine. It's fine if you just want to pick up and have fun with a fighting game, but I wouldn't say it's my favorite by any means. It's pretty weak in my opinion. So that's just me. Capcom versus SNK 2. That is easily up here. I'd put it above Third Strike. Actually, I'd probably put 4 above Third Strike if we're gonna be like specific about them. I would definitely probably put 4 above Third Strike. But Capcom versus SNK 2. I already made a review on the game, so if you want to go watch that, it's only like 3 minutes. I love this game. This game has a ton of characters. It has the groove system. It's got great music. The sprites look really good for the most part. You got Morrigan. I think that's her name, right? Looks like a fucking looks like shit. Looks like I mean they just pulled her sprite right from Darkstalkers. So Guilty Gear Strive. Hmm. This is a hard one because I don't really like Guilty Gear Strive that much. But it's not a bad game. It's just I don't know. I don't really like it that much. I don't love the way this game plays. It just feels weird to me. It always has. And I have hours in this game. I don't It's not like I don't have a decent amount of hours. I think I have like 35 in it. So I've played the game. Like it's not like I'm gonna throw it into a lower spot and I've never played the game or I've barely played it. I have played it. I just don't love it. It's gonna go in C tier. I'm sorry. I mean, I'd put it above like probably all these in C tier, but that's where it's going. I'm sorry. It's going into C tier. It just is what it is. I'm sorry, people. I'm actually not sorry. Deal with it. Okay, Grand Blue Fantasy versus Rising. I love this game. It's going up here. Fantastic game. Tons of characters. Lots of maybe not lots of content, but a decent amount of content. Um, Great voice acting for the most part. Game just plays so good. It's one of my favorite 2D fighters ever. I can't quite put it up higher than most of these. I can maybe put it above Tekken 7. Yeah, I'd put it above Tekken 7. But I love this game. There's so many variety in the play styles of the characters. It's so fun. So yeah, that's where it's going. KOF 13. That's A tier. I like KOF 13 quite a bit. I'd put it at the bottom of A tier, but it's in the A tier nonetheless. I love this game. Plays really well, good amount of content, decent amount of characters. I'm a big Kim guy, Kim Quaplon, or however you say his fucking last name. Uh, I really like this game. It's really fun. It's one of the best 2D, like it's one of the best 2D graphical styles I've ever seen. I mean, I could say the same about like Blaze Blue as well, but like this game just looks great. It looks amazing and it plays really well too. Well, there you go. That's that. Now we're moving on to Mortal Kombat. Ooh, this is a packaged deal right here. Ugh. I didn't add Mortal Kombat versus DC mainly because I forgot to. I have played it, but fuck it, we'll just go on without it. Most people don't count that as a real Mortal Kombat game anyway. Um, Mortal Kombat 1, it's got to go in C tier. I'm sorry. Like I know it's the first, but it is like one of the weaker games. Like it's base Mortal Kombat. It's fine to play. It's better than these. It is what it is. Mortal Kombat 2, it's gonna go in B tier. No, actually, you know what? It's gonna stay in C tier. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, people. I can't in good conscience put these above C tier. I just can't. UMK3, you're gonna go in B tier. This is basically just, it's the best of this like series of Mortal Kombat games, except maybe Trilogy, but I never played Trilogy, and I forgot to add it on here. Otherwise, I could have thrown it in here, but I just forgot to add Trilogy. Um, but UMK3 is great. It's got a lot more characters than either of these. Um, and it actually, I know the original Mortal Kombat 3 didn't have the ninjas, which is pretty cringe. So this game fixed it. So, Mortal Kombat 4. Now, funny enough, um, I am nostalgic for Mortal Kombat 4, but this game is terrible. But I mean, I'm nostalgic for all of these, but this was one of the first ones I played. But despite that, it's got to go. Do I put it in F tier or do I put it in? Nah, I put it in C tier because it's got funny endings. They're at least entertaining. I like the endings. They're funny. Okay, Deadly Alliance. We're gonna put that in B tier. That was my first, not just my first Mortal Kombat game. This was my first fighting game. In fact, part of me should put it like up here just for the respect of getting me into fighting games. This was my first fighting game, and it was one of my first video games in general. I love Deadly Alliance. It's super nostalgic. I love it. But you know what? I can't do that because Deception's just better. In fact, I'd put Deception like hmm, I'll put Deception right there, top of B tier. There we go, baby. Deception's just significantly better than Deadly Alliance. I know the only real complaint people really have with this game is they don't really love the roster that much, but I think the roster's fine. It's got Kenshi in it. It's got Scorpion. It's got Sub-Zero. It has the best looking Sub-Zero. So yeah, there you go. And the conquest mode is just great. I mean, the conquest mode in Deadly Alliance is basically just a glorified tutorial. You know, Armageddon. Armageddon is also going to go on B tier, but it's going to go. It's going to go right here. No, put it below 3. Um, the only issue I really have with Armageddon is that like a lot of the characters play really similarly, and it just doesn't feel the best to play. I mean, you could argue that with all the 3D games, but I would argue that Deception still feels pretty fun to play today. These games feel rough in comparison, which is funny because this one came after. But that's just the price of having every Mortal Kombat character in the game at the time. So yeah, Mortal Kombat 9, top of A tier. I love MK9. MK9 is a fantastic game. It's arguably the best Mortal Kombat game. I mean, some people wouldn't even be arguably. It would be like, oh, obviously it's the best Mortal Kombat game. None of them even come close to it, and that's a fair opinion to have. It is a fantastic fighting game. It has some of the best single player content of any Mortal Kombat game out there. It's got debatably the best roster. If you don't count games like Armageddon or Trilogy, which just had like all the characters in them, if you're talking about like normal rosters, it probably has the best roster on it. Um, it had some great DLC because it added Kenshi to the roster, it added Rain to the roster. Fantastic game. Had one of the best story modes of any of the Mortal Kombat games. So there you go. MKX. That's also going to go in A tier, but it's going to go below Mortal Kombat 9. Um, it is great. It's a great game. I know it's less broken than Mortal Kombat 9, but that doesn't say much because Mortal Kombat X is also super fucking broken. There's just some bullshit in this game, but oh shit. But it's fun. I mean, I don't really like Mortal Kombat from a competitive standpoint at all anyway. Not that I really play fighting games competitively, but even trying to learn the games at a higher level, I just don't really like that with Mortal Kombat personally. Um, there's only one of the games where I really like that with, and it's not these two games. But MKX, it had a decent roster. I will say I'm not personally a huge fan of most of the DLC characters. I mean, having Alien and Predator was cool, Jason was cool, and Trimmer was cool, and that was kind of it. Um, the rest of them I could have gone without. I didn't need Tanya. I didn't need Bo Raicho. Um, I didn't need Triborg. Like just trying to put three characters in one was kind of stupid in my opinion. Because at that point, they're not even really the character. They're just a random cyborg that's color swapped. So, you know, was not a huge fan of that. And I'm not a huge Leatherface guy either. So, but it's got a decent story mode. It's got not a great story mode, but it has some great moments in the story. The game is very fast to play. It's got some great single player content in general. So, I love Mortal Kombat X. It's a fantastic game. Mortal Kombat 11, it's going to go in C tier. I'm sorry. Sorry to all the MK11 fanatics out there, but I got my grievances with MK11. I'm sorry. It's got issues. I don't think it's the best fighting game. I feel like combos are super limiting. They're not like hard to do at all. You figure them out pretty quickly, and then you realize that the game really doesn't let you get that creative with your combat. And I don't know. I think the game gets kind of boring after a while, which is funny because I did play a lot of the game, but that's mainly because it was the first fighting game where I really wanted to like actually learn the mechanics of it. And that's kind of a shame because the mechanics of the game, they're just not the best. I don't think the breaker system is the best. Um, I feel like the game just, instead of trying to balance the game like other fighting games do, they just kind of stripped away a lot of your ability to do shit. And then the game it's balanced, like it's a pretty balanced Mortal Kombat game compared to most of them, but it's boring. I'd rather have something broken and fun than something that's boring and balanced. That's just me. Mortal Kombat 1. This is going to be one of the hardest ones to rank because part of me thinks Mortal Kombat 1 is the best one in the whole series, but at the same time, it has some objective issues that I can't ignore. I really can't. There's a lack of content in the game. It just doesn't have enough content. Um, and you know, to be honest, the next combat pack they're doing, I'm not very happy with it. I don't know why they have to do half and half with movie characters and Mortal Kombat characters. Like, come on, man, you're doing fighting, you're doing a Mortal Kombat game. If you want to do guest characters, that's fine, but make it two instead of three. And then on top of that, you switch the genders of Cyrex and Sector. And I don't know if it's a political reason. It might not be. I don't know. But it's needless. It's stupid. There's no reason for it. Why did you change it? I wanted Cyrax and Sector like they were. We haven't really had them since Mortal Kombat 9, in my opinion. Yeah, you could argue they're in MKX, but not really. Not as characters. They're just a fucking robot that shares color palettes. We haven't really had them since Mortal Kombat 9, and now we finally get them back, and you just gender swap them for literally no reason? Why? That's so stupid. So I don't know. It's dumb to me. And but Noob Saibot looks cool. Noob Saibot looks cool. I like that. That's like my one big thing about it that I'm interested in. Noob looks cool. Um, I got mixed feelings about it. So we're gonna put it in A tier, but we're gonna put it between these two. I can't put it above Mortal Kombat 9. I will say this is the only Mortal Kombat game that from a higher level standpoint, I actually really enjoy playing. I don't really like playing any of these at a higher level at all. I just like playing them for fun. This is the only one where I really want to jump online and just fuck shit up. I love the gameplay of this game. It has the best version of Reptile ever. I don't think anybody would really argue that. Um, it's got a great roster. It, in my opinion, it has one of the better rosters. I know there's a couple of characters that some people would swap out. Like people aren't a huge fan of Reiko. Hot take: I've actually always liked Reiko. um, he was in Mortal Kombat 4, and I just kind of liked the way he looked. So I was happy about it. I was pretty happy with the roster in this game in general. I think the only thing I would have changed was to take Tanya out and replace her with Jade. Um, and it maybe a few more female characters instead of male. And I know I was complaining about Cyrax and Sector being female, but that's not my issue. You took a character, you changed them. There's no reason for that. I would have rather you just brought in Jade, or you brought in, I don't know, what was that character's name? Chrome. There's like a female cyborg ninja. You could have brought Frost back. I wouldn't have minded that. I would have taken that over gender swapping fucking Cyrax and Sector. I mean, come on, dude. So yeah, it's gonna say right here, Under Night in Birth. This is a great game. It is. This is a great fighting game. I actually really love Under Night. And this is Under Night in Birth 2, by the way. I've never played the first one. I had always wanted to, but I just never got around to it. But 2 went on sale for like 25 bucks, and I was like, oh, let me get it. So I got it. I played it. I binged the shit out of this game. I think I beat every character's story or almost every character's story. I played a bit online. There's not a ton of people online. My main character, so originally I was going to do Seth, but I realized how hard Seth was. And I ended up just kind of picking up Ankedo, the big muscle badass dude. He's cool. I liked him. He was really fun to play as. So this game, this is probably actually a really high A tier. Yeah, that's a high A tier. I love that game. So that's going up there. Great music too. DNF Duel. DNF Duel is a game that when I first played it, it would have been like either S or A tier, but over time it definitely dropped. But I would still put it in B tier. Um, it's a great game, but it's dead. This game is dead. I don't usually like referring to games as dead, but it died. This game dead as fuck. You can't ever find anybody playing this game, which is a shame because it's not a bad game. It plays good. It's fun. It's got really unique characters, but It had a really small team. The characters just came out over way too slow of a time. It doesn't really have the best single player content. Its little story mode is really bare bones and kind of lame. So yeah, is what it is. All right, Dragon Ball Fighter Z. We're also gonna put this in B tier. I know, I know it's a terrible thing. It should be an A tier, but I just don't want to put it in A tier. I got my grievances with it, not just as a fighting game, but as a Dragon Ball game. I wish it had more like classic Dragon Ball music. I know it's an Arc System game, so it kind of went like rock and roll, but some of those old tracks, I would have really appreciated that. Also, the tournament mode, at least in single player, is really shitty. It doesn't tell you the characters you're playing as or who you're about to fight. It just goes, what is it, like Team A versus Team B? There you go. It like totally takes me out of the Dragon Ball feeling. When I played old Dragon Ball games, they kind of gave me a certain feeling of, oh my God, I'm actually like in the universe. Oh my God, I'm playing Goku and I'm about to fight my son Goten. I better pummel him. This is great. It's a tournament. Oh, it's Hercule. He's gonna fly around in his jetpack. I think that was Budokai Tenkaichi, but still, yeah. So it goes here. Marvel vs. Capcom 3. This is a hard one because generally I'm actually not the biggest fan of like team fighter games, like team games. More of like one on one. I kind of give the exception to Mortal Kombat 1 because I look at the cameo system as just like an extra mechanic, kind of like the variations. But like in general, I'm not the biggest fan of like team fighters, but I'm still going to put this in A tier. I'm very nostalgic for Marvel vs. Capcom 3. In fact, actually, that high up is actually fairly. No, you know what? We're going to put it. That's actually a good. That's. No, 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 no. Wait, no, no, no. Right there. Yeah, that's a good spot. This is a great game. It's got a ton of characters. I'm a huge Devil May Cry fan, so getting to play as Dante is a treat. It also has Beautiful Joe, and I'm a huge Beautiful Joe fan. Of course, I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. He's in this. Deadpool's in this. The roster is just fantastic. It's fun to play. Game is busted. I don't think anybody would argue against that. The game is absolutely busted, but it's a fun ass game to play. I love it. Um, it's a complete treat. So yeah, so this is the tier list. Love it or hate it. These are my feelings. I I am a fighting game fan. If you have any recommendations for any more fighting games, I'd love to hear it. Um, I know Melty Blood. I heard that was pretty decent, and I have played Dead or Alive 5, but I don't think I played it enough to really put it on here. And it's been a while. I played that back on PS3. I think it was 5. So yeah, if you liked the video, you could like it. If you disliked it, you could dislike it. That's my tier list. I know it's pretty cringe. I know putting Mortal Kombat 1 this high up might be a little cringe for some people, but I love the game. So yeah, that's about it. Have a good day.